informed. You're listening to the KATcast, a weekly podcast from the staff you love to listen to each weekday on 94.3 Cat Country. Hilley and Hart and Jordan J. Now, here they are, talking about life, love, and everything mid-Missouri.
That's right. And this week, I say we talk about animals, because who doesn't love puppies, cats, guinea pigs? Well, any kind of animal that you can own, I guess.
With your favorite animals here.
Talking pets on a very snowy week.
Yeah, when we're recording this, it's a winter wonderland today.
So, okay, I've got a puppy. He is now 17 weeks old. His name's Magnus. Magnus is a German Shepherd, and he is a hot mess. Like, he is the sweetest thing ever, except for what I've discovered when I was on vacation, 7:30 in the morning and 5:30 in the evening. It's like clockwork. It starts with the zoomies, and then it goes into a biting fit. And he doesn't bite my husband. It's just me. And he, doesn't stop. So we are sending him to puppy boot camp. We actually drop him off on Saturday, and
Nice.
I am so excited.
So how long is he going to be gone for?
2 weeks.
Man, you're going to get a whole new dog.
Which
back.
at first I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can stand 2 weeks without him. And now I'm like, he's going to be such a well-behaved little gentleman when he comes back. I can't
Meanwhile,
wait.
Aaron now is like, is it 2 weeks in? Is it 2 weeks in?
Yeah. Fast forward a week, and
Yeah.
she's going to be like, I miss him.
By the way, if you're not familiar with zoomies, Aaron calls them the zoomies. We always call them a nut run in our house. But it's like where your dog just starts tearing around.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter, small, big, they all do it.
Yes.
It's just I don't know if it's, we call it a nut run. It's like a happy run, like, I'm just loving life, and around and around
Well,
and around.
Gemma doesn't do it, and I think it's just because, well, A, she's too lazy, and B, she's just this big fluff ball. She looks at him like, that's a lot of work, man. I'm out. Then she'll just lay down and she'll watch him do it. But yeah, he runs from one end of the house to the other, which, bless his heart, we only have 1,300 square feet. So sorry about that, buddy. It's not like you're running track at the Olympics.
You know what I noticed, though, and maybe it's the same for you all, like when it's after you let a dog outside go to the bathroom, they come back in, that's when I always see the dog get the zoomies. Out of nowhere. It's like they're excited to come back in the house, and they got to run out all the
I think
energy.
they're glad to just have everything out of them finally.
Well,
I'm so much faster now.
See, I used to have a Chihuahua back in the day, and even her name was Sadie, and she... When she got older, she wasn't running too much, but she still had what we called the zoomies because she would run this specific path. Like, she would always walk this very specific path when she'd come back into the house.
Really?
Yeah, she would, perimeter the house. like she was like, I must do my guard checks. Just around the house.
Here.
So when my boxer, Gwen, was still with us, she had worn a path around the perimeter of the house because that's what she would do. She would go outside, she'd do her biz, and then she'd do a couple little jaunts around the house, nothing fast. Just leisurely, just kind of checking out everything. Like, okay, those gutters are still there. Great. All right, the downspouts, excellent. Rose bushes. All right, so we're in business. Okay, it's time to go back in yet. And it was the weirdest thing. After she passed, that path stayed, for about 2 years, and then it finally started to kind of grow back in. But, yeah, that was her routine. So weird.
I don't understand. It makes you wonder what dogs are thinking.
We have a foster dog. We're calling him a foster dog right now. We're watching him for somebody who's sort of in between places. She'll have her place we think in April. So in the meantime, hey, can you watch him because I can't have him with me where I am? I go, yes, okay, that's fine. So we're watching him. Meanwhile, we already have our Hamlet and Roxy. Hamlet is a Min Dachshund. He's going to be 12 in February. Roxy we think she's maybe 14. We're not quite sure. She's the Jack Russell Terrier. And Caleb is who we're saying, okay, you're going to have a foster brother for a few months now. And he is like a Chihuahua, small mix of some kind. Chihuahua, I don't know, something else. But he's a cute guy, but he's heavy. He's like a little guy, but he's so fat. He's heavy. I mean,
are you guys like the diet center that his owner sent him to?
Maybe. I don't know. But I'm so used to picking up Hamlet. I can pick him up with a couple of fingers.
Yeah.
But this one, he's like, oh my gosh. And the other two are really not sure about him. They're looking at him like, who is this interloper? Hey, Caleb, let me lay down some rules for you, pal. Here's how it works around here,
You're breaking into our house,
exactly.
Eating our food, drinking our water.
Yeah.
Well, when we brought home Magnus 7 weeks ago, Gemma didn't want nothing to do with him.
Right.
Was just, she'd lay on the couch. She just looked miserable. She would ignore him. He'd come up to her. She'd turn her head very blatantly. It took them weeks. And now it's like it started in small doses. The doses are getting a little bit longer. But now they just rough and tumble play. And I think this is where the biting's coming from because she's a Great Pyrenees Anatolian Shepherd mix. She's got all this fur. He really lays into her, and she just stands there like, what? That's all you got, kid? I don't think she feels it through all that fur. However...
So he's thinking it's okay.
Yes. Right. However, when he comes up to us, I don't have 6 inches of fur on me.
He sinks his teeth into you.
Oh, my gosh. It'll about send you through the roof.
Well, see, it's amazing. I was telling somebody the other day, dogs have a way... now, I don't know about your situation necessarily, but dogs have a way between themselves of working things out, especially if people don't get too involved. Like I said, Caleb showed up, and the other two were like a little bit of, and my wife and the lady who brought him over, they're like, kind of keeping him. I go, no, let them go, let them work it out. They got to sniff each other. They're Googling each other. It's like nose in the butt. Yeah, okay. Oh, I know what you're all about. Let me see. Put my nose here. Oh, yeah, I see what you're all about now. Yeah, but. They work it out, man. It's like after a while, they were just like, okay, there's like a little detente going on here. And we'll learn about each other more. But dogs just understand the whole, alpha thing. They know I'm the alpha, but then there's the whole pecking order, too. So...
You keep saying Caleb. I just imagine some little nerdy kid with a backpack and glasses, a little beanie with a propeller on his head showing up. I'm here to bunk with you, Mr. Hilley.
I had a friend growing up named Caleb. He didn't look anything like
that. Well,
Caleb would be offended.
It doesn't take much to offend
I hope
people
Caleb's not
these
listening
days.
right now. I'm just saying.
Sorry, he
Caleb.
wouldn't care. He'd laugh so hard at that.
So, all right. So, and I understand all the dogs that we have now or have had. They're all close in our heart. But favorite dog you ever had, if you had to pick one, because I know it's like favorite.
What?
I know.
I can't say that. The kids listen to this.
He won't care.
That's not true.
Well, it's not going to be him. We know that.
I love Gemma and Magnus equally.
Oh, great. Here we go.
I'm going to be that mom.
She's just like people with kids.
You're like a parent.
I like them all.
Be like, you think people like don't have favorite kids? Be like, no.
Oh, I know.
Which one falls
parents.
down the stairs? And be like, which one is it?
I know it's my parent. I'm my parents' favorite.
I am head over heels for my Hamlet. I love that guy, even though Aaron,
he's a whizzer.
He peed on her feet, peed on her leg.
Yeah, he did.
But that's a sign
at
of affection
a barbecue.
from him. But here's the thing, I love him like crazy. I think the favorite dog I ever had though was a shepherd mix named Toby. We had. He lived to be 16 years old.
Oh wow!
We got him when he was 6 months old. My wife and I, we had just been married. In fact, we weren't even married yet when I got him. And he had already been, I think, in like 2 homes.
Really?
He was only 6 months old. He had already been, because the dog was like insane and strong.
Oh, wow.
And he just became the sweetest, nicest dog. To the point where my mom loved him. She'd call up and she'd say, "How's my Toby?" Like that kind of thing. So and Hammy, if you're listening, I love you, bud. I'm just saying that dog, that was the first dog I ever had, like, in my own life that was my own dog,
Your
not
own
like
dog.
a family dog. You know what I mean? So.
Everybody knew how I felt about Gwen. That dog could do no wrong in my eyes. Found her as a stray out at my parents' farm. She had been out in the woods for quite some time. She was emaciated, was full of ticks and fleas. And
I remember when you first got her,
You'd pull ticks off of her and skin would come. It was an awful situation. Took her to the vet, said, "Hey, is she microchipped?" The vet's like, "No." And I'm like, "So what's the rules? Like, what's the law?" And the vet's like, "She's in this bad a shape." She goes, "I'd say you just got a dog."
Finders keepers.
Yeah. My vet had also said that there was evidence that she'd had multiple litters, like litter after litter. So they suspected a potential puppy mill
Like a
dog.
breeding.
So I was like, let's fix her and microchip her, and I'm taking her home. And that was hands down. That dog just got me. She knew when I was having a good day. She knew when I was having a bad day. She never like ran off. Like Gemma, if we go outside and I forget to get her leash or I don't get her leash on her good enough, if she's like Forrest Gump, if she's going anywhere, she is running, and she'll run like 3, counties away. Gwen wasn't like that. She just wanted to be with her people.
Run, Gemma,
Rode in a car
run.
good. You could take her in places. We went through all the obedience school, classes and everything. She had her canine good citizenship, certificate as well.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
could take her in public places. And I mean, it was pretty,
So I
she was
could
a pretty
take her in
special dog.
public places.
No, seriously.
She was presentable.
She was. She was well behaved, and that certificate said so. But no, she was. I mean, I went through a divorce with that dog. I went through a pulmonary embolism. Met the husband and got remarried. And all that. All with her. So yeah, a lot of big life
She
events.
was there for the highs and lows.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I'd have to say with me, probably.
Did you have a dog growing up?
Yeah. So I start off with Sadie, that Chihuahua, but I don't know if she was technically she was like my first dog, but I don't know if she was
First
my
dog is
favorite.
special.
It is special,
Yeah.
but and it's one of those things. But I don't know, I don't know. Maybe Bandit though, and unfortunately Bandit also passed away. But we got another. So Bandit was we had a little dachshund. And Dachshund, and let me tell you, he was very hyper, very didn't listen very well, but he was just the cutest dog. He'd love to cuddle with you all the time. It's funny, we got him kind of right actually after I graduated high school, so it was kind of so I wasn't around too much, but when I was home and stuff, I mean, he was just always a cuddler, always doing all sorts of things. My sister obviously really fell in love with him. Got a new dachshund actually now, Leo, which funny enough is almost like the embodiment of Bandit. They have they're almost identical dogs. They look different, but I promise you, they act. You'll sit there, you'll be like, they do like the same things. You're like, this is just Bandit reincarnated into another dog. I know it's like the most bizarre thing of all time. But
So, since you both have dealt with Chihuahuas, do you believe the whole Chihuahuas are evil? And
No.
See, I've never come across a
I don't
truly
believe any
mean
dog is
Chihuahua.
evil.
So-
Well, you know what I mean. Like they're supposed to be kind of growly and
So
temperamental.
here's the
and-
thing. Sadie, when she was young, wasn't like that. But
Yeah.
when she got to a certain age,
Right.
She just wasn't having it.
she just wasn't having it. She was like the crabby old
Well,
lady
she's just
dog.
crotchety.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
dude, you catch me on a bad
Yeah.
day, okay? You're going to say the same thing about me,
But
okay?
she
In
like-
fact, I'm getting real close to that right now.
We can tell.
She lost her teeth, and she sits
Aw.
there. So like if you sit there like petting her or whatever, but if she like growl at you and she'd try to like nip at you, but it's like
It's all gum.
It's all gum. So you're like, you're like, what are you trying to massage my hand? Like what are you doing?
That idea of a Chihuahua. My father-in-law has a dog now, a long-haired Chihuahua, and she's sweet. Her name is Molly, but he had one before her named Belle.
Really?
And Belle hated everybody except my father-in-law. He was the only,
Yeah?
and she loved him. She adored him. But anybody else, well, she lost her teeth.
Yeah.
And so the grandkids and all would all come up to her and want to pet her, and she tried to gum them to death.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too with Sadie, because not only was she a Chihuahua, she was a mini Chihuahua, a mini long-haired Chihuahua. And the thing is, so she couldn't really play with like normal dog toys. Like every dog toy was massive to her,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So what she actually ended up playing with and like fetching were little Lincoln logs. You know, like you know the smallest little Lincoln logs.
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
throw
yeah.
those, and you'd see it'd be in her mouth, and she'd be running back to you.
It's funny.
So she'd fetch with little Lincoln logs.
You'll get it.
Oh
So-
my god, cutest thing.
So Gemma's almost 80 pounds. Magnus is right at 34 right now. And the thing that they love to play tug of war with is this. We have a giant wishbone, right? Thinking, they can play. No, they take this teeny tiny wishbone that we had gotten,
Oh my gosh.
and it's like the kind that they can chew on and stuff, but it doesn't break down.
Right.
But they like to play tug of war with that, which is so dumb because it's tiny. So it hardly fits in Gemma's mouth. And here she's bending down so Magnus can get it. And then he's really putting his back into it. And I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. You guys have ropes. You have a big, like T-bone. Or wishbone. Why are we messing with the teeny tiny one?
Choose the smallest one.
Yeah, exactly. And give it hell.
The way a dog worms his way into your heart, I will tell you this, and this is a sad story. Okay, can we do sad stuff on here too?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Okay,
Let's do
well,
it.
I won't if Aaron doesn't want to. 'Cause,
No, go ahead.
Okay, so my
all
dog,
bummed out.
the first dog I ever actually had was Max.
Yeah.
My mom and dad really, they both gave him to me when I graduated 8th grade. Okay, so and he was a puppy, and my dad sort of trained him. My dad was amazing with dogs. I mean, he had dogs his whole life, and they were so well behaved.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, he trained Max, and and where we were living at the time, we couldn't keep him at our house. So he was staying at my grandmother's house. Okay. Anyway, fast forward, I had him for X number of years. I go off to college, and he's living, of course, at our house at that point now, And I love that dog so much. And I call home from college, and I go, hey, so how's Max? And my mom says, we can't find him. And I'm like, what? Yeah, we're looking for him. Okay, she didn't have the heart to tell me. And I'm like, well, you got to find him. Yeah. Well, my mom didn't have the heart. I talked to my dad, like maybe a week or two later. I said, Dad, where's Max? And my dad had to say, Max is dead. He got hit by a car out in front. Our house was on a highway, and he got hit by. My mom did not have the heart to tell me, and I cried.
Oh, absolutely,
like a baby for a week because it was a family member of mine.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And
it just ripped the heart out of my brother and sister because one of them had opened the door and they ran out and.
Let me tell you, it's losing a pet. It is like losing a family member. It's tough because, like Aaron's kind of said, it's like, they're with you through a lot of big life moments, and they become a huge part of your life. So then, like, when they're not there anymore, it's just like very empty, right? You're like, I'm missing a big part of something that wasn't, that was here for so long. Like,
dogs just love unconditionally. They really do. They don't require anything of you. They're just,
It's not a piece of furniture. It is. It's a family member. And people who go, it's just an animal. Nah, I don't understand that mentality.
It's just an accessory. That's what they'll say sometimes.
Right. It's nice of the Philadelphia Eagles to check in.
I had my phone on silent, and apparently it didn't work.
Number one Eagles fan, by the way.
The sad part, I don't even recognize the number.
Oh, man.
There
An
you
eagle
go.
also may be a pet if you would like to have.
That's true. So, hey, if you have any pet stories, dog stories, cat, whatever you have, we've pretty much only had dogs. We've had cats, too.
I'm more of a dog person
yeah,
myself.
me too.
No offense to cats.
No.
I've had dogs, cats, fish, a tarantula, actually 2 tarantulas, a rat, iguana, guinea pig,
you ever
and
had a snake?
Hamsters. I have not had snake.
Well, there you go.
Not that I really want one.
I know people that have it. I'm like, what do you do? It's not like you walk a snake. Like,
Exactly.
We had a gecko, and actually, we bought it for my son when now my son is 30. He's going to be 32 later this month. But we bought Geico. We called him Geico for John when he was 10 years old, not realizing how long geckos live. They live like more than 20 years. So. John's he's moved out. We still have Geico. But I used to love feeding him because you take like the little baby, the little pinkies. What are they called?
They call them pinkies.
No, but they're actually mice.
Little baby
tiny mice. And you feed him, and he's like, it's like watching a nature show. It's a beauty. Look at that one. And feed him crickets and everything. That was like amazing. Anyway, I finally gave him to a co-worker at the time. She says, I'll take care of him. My daughter will love him. So Geico is somewhere. We have no idea where he is. But I know if he's still alive.
Yes.
Again, this was 20 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
But they're great pets, though.
I did have a harness for my iguana, so I could walk him, and he would take off running, and he'd rear back up on his back legs, so he looked like a little guy. Running.
Just running.
Running. I'm running.
Running for the marathon. I'm working out.
But if you have any pet anecdotes, stories, remembrances, share it with us. It's Cat Country. That's KAT Country at mailzimmer.com. And by the way, the podcast now we can say wherever you get your podcast.
That's right.
That's
you
right.
can look
We're
it up.
everywhere.
Look up Cat Country, 94.3 Cat Country. Look it up like that way if you want. But you'll find it. And there we are. And we're like on all the Spotify's and the iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and we're up there with the big kids now.
Look at us. We are big kids now.
Woo-hoo.
Yay.
Well, thanks for joining us. There's another edition of the KATcast. Kevin Hilley.
Aaron Hart.
And I'm Jordan J.
With 94.3 Cat Country.
You've been listening to the KATcast, your weekly dose of fun from the staff you know and love on 94.3 Cat Country. Click subscribe and never miss an episode. Share it on social media and tell your friends with 94.3 Cat Country.